Hey guys, how's it going? Um, I would say Happy New Year, but I don't follow the Gregorian calendar when it comes to the New Year. Even though I believe astrology is real, because I believe astrology is real, I use the Chinese New Year, and that's actually every Aquarius new moon. Sorry, that's my heater kicking in. Um, every Aquarius new moon is the Chinese New Year, and guess when that is this year? On my birthday, February 10th, 2024. So we're in the year of the rabbit right now, still, which was all of 2023 basically, and on my birthday, 2024, it'll be the year of the dragon. Okay, this year, just as Sam Jackson says in Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts, okay? Uh, because it's not getting better. More truths are being exposed, but with that comes a balance of more New World Order type stuff going on. I think Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is in North Korea. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy. I'm getting over sickness. Um, he literally said he wants to like annihilate the U.S. and that's part of the game. The ten kingdoms in Revelation go against the daughter of Babylon. They all team up together. Islam, China, Russia is the bear. Um, all the bad guys who hate us and hate our freedom, so-called freedom, um, they're going to be planning to come against us, and that's going to happen right after we're hit by some crazy comet or UFO. So I'm not like, it's weird because I'm not saying you should be a prepper, because the Second Amendment can't stop a comet or the end times. That's just for personal defense. And they know, like even in World War II, the famous Japanese general said that if we enter the heartland, there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. So they know we're armed. So the Democrats want to disarm us just to be more prepared for the invasion, but that doesn't matter either because America will be nuked. That's the only way that can truly defeat us, is if we're nuked. I saw this really scary Netflix movie. It was so off-putting. It's called Leave the World Behind with Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts, some other people. It was just so off-putting. It was very scary and negative. And Kevin Bacon had a scene or whatever. And it's just, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be the Islam and the Koreans and whoever, Russia, are all going to invade and shut off our grid via satellites. So we're all like lost and can't communicate with our cell phones anymore because we're so dependent on it. And then it's going to be a big explosion, and then they invade or whatever. So, I don't want to be a pessimist, but the Bible's the Bible, and the Bible says it's going to happen. And, I sound dumb. Well, the Bible says, well, it's not that it literally says it. It's the spiritual readings that we have been analyzing for over 10 years, I guess, by now. We just kind of have to, I don't want to say cope with it, but do what Jesus said. He said, don't worry. When you see signs of war and weird weather in diverse places and the changing of kind, which is sexes, that's all going to happen. Know that I'm about to come. So it's almost as if Christians are supposed to want to see the New World Order rising, because that just means Jesus is accomplishing his mission. Not his mission. He's letting Satan take over, because Satan rules the world, but he's going to really rule the world until, we still have grace and mercy right now, y'all. So we still have a chance to escape in some kind of rapture. Like Luke 21:36 says, Jesus says, pray that you'll be worthy to escape what is coming. So how are we going to escape? We're going to hop on a UFO? We're going to run away? No, it's something spiritual with our pineal glands. Okay, and the book of Genesis talks about Jacob saw the place called Pineal, and I've seen God face to face. So it's literally an analogy to the pineal gland, the third eye chakra, whatever, opening, so we can just ascend and get out of here, because the earthly body cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. It's all about your spiritual body that we're cultivating. Especially if reincarnation exists. Once again, this wasn't our only body. This is just an amalgamation of all of our previous past lives. You might have a birthmark here or something from your past life because you were stabbed in the neck. You know, if you read the book by Michael Newton, Journey of Souls, all the reincarnated stuff is real. And people are having memories of their past lives, and their birthmarks explain their deaths in their previous life. Okay, we need to stop having this generic 101 version of Christianity and know that the original Gnostics believed in reincarnation. You know, they believed in the transmigration of souls, as Emerson puts it in his Swedenborg essay. And now it's the age of Aquarius, so with all the knowledge and the so-called love comes technology. Okay, so if you look at the sign of Aquarius in the sky using HA rays constellations, no other constellations make sense figuratively. They don't look like anything except HA rays. The Aquarius has a dot in his head, and that symbolizes either A, the third eye chakra, or B, the mark of the beast, or both, the mark of the beast affecting our third eye, so we cannot see God anymore. Okay, so we're trying to gather our spiritual strength, and that's that. And honestly, to be honest, I was kind of sick, and it's making me become more sober. You know, I'm still going through that detox, y'all. I'm less and less and less of everything, and you know, it makes me realize why I was doing it, because I'm so scared. We do alcohol to numb our senses. We want to cope with reality and just chill out and have a good time. But these are the most important times to be aware of everything. And even though I've had this channel and I know some cool stuff y'all probably haven't heard from any other channel, I'm still suppressing a lot of stuff when I was doing that. And so now I'm having to kind of reteach myself courage. And one of my favorite movies, Star Trek Generations, Data has his emotion chip, implanted in him, right? And he's scared all the time because he's not used to emotions. He just faced everything logically like a robot, yet he wants to be human. And so it's kind of a testament to, well, with humans, there comes responsibility and strength. And Picard was saying, courage is also an emotion. And when I was super young, like, 16 or whatever, and I heard that, I was always very emotional, more than some of my other friends. That really struck me. It's like, that's true. There wouldn't be bravery if there wasn't fear. You can't just be brave if there's nothing to fear. So now that I'm more clear-minded, and now that I'm kind of opening my body, awareness levels, it's only going to be for the good, okay? And people say, well, Jesus turned water into wine so you can drink every now and then. You can do whatever you want. That's fine. But I have another video showing that wine wasn't, fermented grape juice like we know of it today. Seriously. It's not Manischewitz. It was more of a potion of different things, and not necessarily alcoholic. Anyway, so Mars is up in Capricorn right now. Which for all Aquarius, it means that Mars is in your 12th house. It means you kind of want to be alone more. You're kind of drained a little more, and you have really weird dreams. And that's totally true. My dreams are just all over the place. I'm dreaming like crazy. Because the more you drink, the less you dream. And the more you smoke, the less you dream, because you're using that energy in the real world instead of where it was meant to be primarily in your dream life. And to people who don't dream, you're really missing half of reality. Is that, well, I don't have enough time to dream, I'm too stressed, or you need REM sleep. Okay, there's 24 hours in a day for a reason. Dreaming is God giving us advice that we're too scared to face in this reality, or if we know we're scared of something and always think of it, God will put us in a dream and say, okay, well, face it again, just so you can build up courage, build up a thicker skin. You're like, well, I hate nightmares. I do too. You're supposed to. You're supposed to know what to fear, but I'll be a Nietzschean again. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, okay? And, until it kills you. I I'm a firm believer that dreams are from God, and that's why dreams are mentioned like at least 150 times in the Bible. You know, that's how God speaks to us when we're too blind in our waking life to notice his synchronicities and his signs and his symbols. Okay? I did another interview with Dr. John Stamey on one of his podcasts. I'll try and get the link to y'all. It was really cool. It's primarily about gematria. I think I am going to write a paper with him, or a book or something at least, and you know, because he's really fascinated. He has a master's in math as well, and you know, a PhD in whatever. And it was a connection that was supposed to happen. I think this year is going to be super important for my development, not only spiritually but perhaps professionally. You know, I could have my name attached to a doctor. Okay, instead of just some YouTuber who's always asking questions and random stuff, and he doesn't. I may seem scatterbrained to y'all, but you know, something is better than nothing. Most people don't want to bring up things that they don't believe, whereas I'm okay with questioning it because I want to know, and I want to be curious. Okay, I'll say it again. Aquarius, year of the rabbit. We're intellectual virgins, they say, and so we gather as much knowledge as we can, and we're a little bit encyclopedic, and we can jump from idea to idea, whereas other people can't really see the web of thought that originated that. So I'm always having to take a step back and, you know, start from ground zero with everyone. But like Nietzsche, that gets boring. Like Nietzsche, I want to assume you've read Nietzsche. I want to assume you know what gematria is. I want to assume you know what 432 is. And that's what my 17 years of video are, is me slowly culminating into something uniting and unified. Well, that's because Aquarius's verb is to universalize, okay? And this is the time for the end times prophets like me and others, Mark, Jim Brown, Mark is in the Groxt, many people. Even Nine Nanya's channel showed me all the Yahweh Satan stuff. This is the time for these so-called fringe ideas to become more precedent and serious in regards to theological discussion. You know, it's not just, well, what if? It's like, no, there's evidence now. We're not just theorizing because we're bored. We are culminating evidence and, you know, coming to firmer conclusions, firmer and firmer. We can never know everything, okay? But I do believe God wants us to know something. And I think God is hinting at this exact time in history for these kind of profound truths to be summarized. And you know, that's what a great thinker is. They can summarize. And that's why another reason people don't like Nietzsche, because he's like, well, he didn't explain that enough. It's like, no, he's read everything, so he's summarizing it from his point of view. If you haven't read, you know, Stendhal's The Red and Black, then you won't know what he's talking about. If you don't read Dostoevsky, you won't know what he's talking about. And that's my issue with modern readers. Why should a genius have to explain everything to you when you have the same resources? You have more resources than they did back in the 1800s. Go read Crime and Punishment, or the Brothers Karamazov. You know, go read it yourself, and then come back and catch up to us. And then you'll see, like, oh, okay, I see why he didn't want to do a full summary explanation of the book and then give a thesis, because 100 million people have already done a summary of Dostoevsky. You got to look into it and then catch up, okay? And it's boring for people who already know to constantly be having to reiterate the same truths just because some new guy in the room hasn't read the book, okay? What's more interesting is someone talking about something interesting and then you going back and say, hey, maybe I should read that, like Emerson's essay on Swedenborg, the mystic, in his Representative Men essays. When I read that in the winter of 2006, I knew I was supposed to read that at that exact moment, because Emerson was talking about old souls. Emerson was talking about how science and religion combined in Swedenborg, because Swedenborg was a strict scientist in the 1700s for 40 years, and then after he was 40, then he started having these mystical visions of heaven and hell, or the afterlife, whatever you want to call it. whatever you want to call is whatever's before this physical manifestation of our souls right now. Swedenborg sees it. Okay. And he has Neptune in Pisces, the most psychic sign. So he's using Aquarius logic to tap into those psychic areas and combining those two. And it's so rare because usually you just have strict scientists. I need firm evidence and truth I can see and feel. Or you have the intuitive people who think science is nonsense and it's not only half of reality. It's both. I don't want to be one or the other. I'm both. Okay. And of course, I have a ton of Pisces. Ascendant, Jupiter, and Mercury all in Pisces. So I feel I can intellectualize intuitiveness or whatever you call it. So anyway, this is me just rambling. A lot of people think I have kind of a Jon Snow kind of, brooding demeanor. Like, why don't he cheer the fuck up? Well, it's like the more you know, the more you're just like constantly on edge. And I think that's part of the huge anxiety thing we have nowadays. And that's why this New World Order and the government are pushing safe spaces and sensitivity stuff, because we're not properly trained on how to channel and direct these intense emotions. Okay? And I will say this, one of the greatest books ever that helped me become not unsensitive, but to be able to control my senses was Stendhal's The Red and Black. And it was a recommendation by Nietzsche. He said he's one of the greatest psychologists ever. And of course, Stendhal is Aquarius Rabbit. So I immediately was drawn to him as well. And I was underlining parts of the books that I thought, this isn't just a romance novel. He's talking about a genius trying to come to grips with socializing with other people who are not geniuses. That's exactly what The Red and Black is about. It's not some love story with Ewan McGregor, like the movies and stuff. The book is about coping with your intense emotions and learning how to properly express them and feel them, most of all. Okay? And it even talks about like a nervous twitching of the mouth. And I had that when I was, younger, because I would, just be real sensitive to this or that, and everyone else was just kind of chilling out, whatever, who cares. But I was thinking about 20 million things at once. And I was like, of course an Aquarius is going to teach me these things, and how to properly, properly become an adult, essentially. So if you have the time, definitely read The Red and Black. If you have problems struggling with intense emotions, it's not just breathing exercises that help. It's actual thinking. It's you got to learn. It's like Nietzsche says, of course. We have to learn not only how to think differently, but feel differently. Okay? It's not saying block your emotions, but it's saying, yeah, you can feel that and you can feel that, but you need to start directing it in a positive way, because you can go to the scary parts. A mature adult uses their mind to channel it in a positive way, in a positive direction. Okay? But again, like I said, I'm becoming more and more sober, so I'm like having to reteach myself some of these things I learned as a teenager, because when you've been drinking since you're 18, because you went to college in New Orleans, and then you have a addiction to alcohol. I don't think I've ever said this on my channel, but I am an alcoholic. Okay, I admit it. Okay, it's funny because I can only admit it after I've stopped drinking that I'm an alcoholic. Okay, and if you can't overcome denial, that's the first step. Then you're just gonna always be lost and never admit that. Well, I just do it every day. That doesn't mean anything. It means everything. Why are you doing it every day? Well, because I'm bored. Why are you bored? Because you have no drive and direction. And you see me, I have so many hobbies and passions, but I'm still bored sometimes, or stressed. And so alcohol is like a twofer. It makes you less stressed and less bored. So it's the perfect poison for immature minds. Sorry. That's why Nietzsche says the two European narcotics are Christianity and alcohol. And of course we know that the modern church is not true Christianity. You know what I mean? So as Nietzsche says, the church is precisely what Jesus preached against and what he taught his disciples to fight. And so it's kind of weird that Christianity itself says Jesus will return October of 1844, and that's Nietzsche's exact birth. Okay? It's a 2,000-year prophecy, happens to get it within a week of Nietzsche's birthday. You know, and the guy who discovered it, William Miller, in The Great Disappointment, is an Aquarius tiger like me. Well, I'm a rabbit, but if I was born 13 days earlier, I'd be Aquarius tiger instead. So all these archetypes, Swedenborg, Stendhal, William Miller, all of these people I've learned so much from and helped me grow so much from are the same astrology as me. And it's not a coincidence, obviously. And it's not a coincidence that it's the age of Aquarius, obviously. So we can tell these other profound truths to other signs who aren't Aquarius or Rabbit, who still go through these things. Okay? You can be a mystic with it. We could be any sign ever, and you could be a mystic. You could be any sign ever and be a genius. Okay? I'm just saying, for me personally, it's like clear as day. I'll say one last thing about astrology. Nietzsche and I have Jupiter, the planet of imagination, in Pisces, the planet of psychic ability. And it literally says we can zoom out and see the bigger picture. And that's exactly it. That's why people, they can't understand Nietzsche or me, because they can't freaking zoom out. Okay? We're here to help you zoom out and help you see the bigger picture so you can see the patterns in reality. If you just take everything at face value, then you're going to be deceived, because the New World Order expects that. Satan, or whatever spirit that is, that rules the world, they're gonna expect you to be a dumbass and be complacent and be too scared to question things. But God says, you know, learn new things by the renewing of your mind, or something like that. It's not just about blind faith like these dumb churches teach so they can get a paycheck and preach Jesus is born December 25th, and then they don't know what to tell kids about Santa Claus and Easter bunnies. They just do it. They don't know Easter is Ishtar, who's in the spring, because it's the month of Aries, the first sign, and it's about giving birth to the new year. And that's why the bunnies, they have sex a lot, and it's symbolic of that. And then you're teaching kids that bunnies lay eggs, and even though they're mammals and all that stuff. Like, I don't know how these priests sleep at night. Okay, like, I know that I can sleep because I'm not, because I can tell people I'm not certain, but I know what I'm certain of. Okay? Yeah, I don't know. I know when I don't know something, and I know when I do know something. Okay, and that's what helps me cope, is that I feel I'm helping people. This isn't, the 1800s where I just hold up a sign on the street corner, the end is near. No, it's 2024. We have to use the internet to spread the word to the most people possible. And, that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, good enough rant, y'all. Sorry, it was stuffy, but I had the worst sore throat for like 2 days straight. And it hurt to swallow. Like, just drinking water was, it was a pain. So yeah, I just got some hardcore, Walgreens juice, magic juice, whatever you want. And yeah, just rested a lot and lots of fluids and no junk food, lots of fruits and lots of oatmeal. Anyway, enough of my diet. And I'm also getting better with my diet. Like, my taste buds are, kind of expanding a little more, and kind of thanking me for stopping to drink as much, because the body is it's not infinite. Okay, it needs to adapt to its age. Okay, you can't just do the same things you did when you're 21, and most of us find out the hard way. So nip it in the bud before you have to worry about it. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great day, and sorry I'm not posting as much. Like I said, I was sick. Started my new job, so I'm getting used to that and etc. Well, hope y'all bundle up, and I hope y'all. I'll try and give y'all the link to the podcast once I get it from Dr. John Stamey, and so y'all can see that because it was pretty fun. Lycomatria is just the unification of science and theology, 100%, and so that's kind of my specialty is uniting these so-called opposites, is seeing the similarities between so-called contrasting philosophies. It's like I'm not left or right. I'm not going left. I'm not going right. I'm going forward. Okay, we're doing both at the same time. All right, take it easy, y'all.